Hello, everybody, and welcome to LaChamba.com. I am Neil Rodriguez. So the $838 billion recovery plan was passed by the Senate yesterday, and $6 to $7 billion is going to be apportioned towards opening broadband access in rural and underserved areas. About 6 years back, I took a help desk position. As a phone operator, providing help desk support to people in rural areas. This was down south in Florida, people in rural areas. And because I wanted to be more technologically proficient, I wanted to be more computer literate, I wanted to basically turn to the Terminator. Not the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator, but the liquid Terminator. All right, with like a mental network card implanted that allowed me to hook up to the internet from any point on the planet. So I wanted to be more technologically proficient. I took this help desk job. It required few qualifications. It was only about $12 an hour, but I wanted to start to establish the framework from which I can develop into an internet marketer, which is what I do now. See, I knew that once I started getting to internet marketing, there was going to be terms that are very technological that I would not understand. I mean, I knew that when I was around people that were into web design, when they spoke of HTML and CSS, they could have spoken of leka highly ho, and I would have thought they were talking about the next version, the evolution of E equals MC square. So I wanted to learn more about it, so I got into computers the best way I knew how, which was to help people fix them. So I got call after call from people in rural areas. People haven't turned on their computers in years. One person turned on their computer that had so much dust in it that smoke started to rise out of the back of the computer. Sparks started to shoot out. There was a fire in the house. Another person, another lady with whom I spoke, all you heard was shotgun blast, plow, plow, plow in the background. Like, damn, what's going on? The husband was hunting rabbits, or possum, I believe. And then the lady's like, "Did you get one, honey?" It's new to me. I'm from New York City, and I mean, people typically don't blast rabbits or possum here. They just blast each other. Well, that's besides the point. I consistently worked at it 12 hours a day, 3 times a week, and it got me proficient. It got me to the point where I could start my experiments, my keyword research, my search engine optimization experiments, my pay-per-click experiments. And I just wanted to point this out because I know personally that there is growth in this area, in opening broadband access not only to rural areas but places where people are not as technologically proficient, even in the city. So anything that has to do with rerouting the cables to these homes, anything that has to do with help desk support, although it does not pay much, but if you want to get into this business, if you want to get into some type of technological industry, it's a good segue because it'll give you a nice foundation from which to develop yourself into whatever type of professional you want to be, which is a net admin, you want to be an internet marketer. It's a good way to start. And I mean, I remember I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad. One of the lessons that he suggests, one of the things that he advises is to take jobs not only for what they pay, but from what you could learn, for what you could learn from them. So that's what I did. That was my plan, and it eventually worked out. All right, now I could execute internet marketing plans, and a lot of it is based on the fact that I can understand technological terminology. A lot of it has to do with the words that I understand. So there's going to be an opening in this area. I know that there has been a development in this area for the past 6 years at least, based on my personal perception. A lot of this work was being outsourced, like by AOL and Dell, to Asian countries, Latin American countries, and a lot of people stopped being customers to AOL, they stopped being subscribers and to other companies because they had a language barrier between people that had strong accents. So a lot of these companies had to start to insource this work. I mean, I know Cablevision, they had to do it out in Long Island, and and a lot of people have broadband access out there, out in New York City. So people still need some type of help desk support. All right, they still need assistance when their internet goes down, when something happens, when the fiber optic cables shatter, when there is a problem with some type of component that needs fixing inside their house. You know, people still need assistance. VoIP is a rising industry. All right, now I point this out because, like I said, I know for a fact that this is a growing industry, so it's something for you to possibly explore. Now, there are other industries that the recovery plan will benefit, such as the healthcare industry. I know that a number of medical documents have to be computerized. They're going to have to hire people to scan those documents and convert them into electronic format. I know I have never spoken with a nurse that was out of work. If anything, they are overworked. All right? They work overtime. They work 70, 80 hours minimum, 12-hour shifts. And I know they get paid double whenever they do work overtime. And I mean, last time I checked the want ads on a newspaper, on a print newspaper, which is a few years back, I noticed there was a lot of want ads for nurses with a number of bonuses. People were offering $5,000 bonuses to people that were hired. So that's another way. You look at the want ads and find what's in most demand. If you see, 20 advertisements for nurses or medical assistants, it may be a good idea to sign up for a vocational course that will prepare you to become a medical assistant. Then you could possibly go to school while you are a medical assistant and go for a nursing degree or go for being a doctor. Take it as far as you can take it. All right. Also, industries revolving renewable energy that are contributing towards renewable energy, they're also going to be helped by the recovery plan. You have to look into these industries if your industry is being plagued by layoffs bubonically. All right, there was an article I read yesterday in the Times where there was a number of plant workers in Ohio that couldn't find jobs for about 10 months' time. Some people did find jobs in the same industry and then they will get laid off again. All right, if it's one company, it's all right, because if one company is laying off people, some companies, they make bucket loads of money. They still want to lay off people because they see that there is an economic crisis afoot. So just because the trends indicate that business is going to slow in the upcoming months, they will start to lay off people, even though they don't require it. So they'll do that. So if it's one company, you can find jobs elsewhere, and you are able to retain a position elsewhere for a good length of time, then you're probably all right. But if you see company after company is laying off tons of workers, a number of workers, putting a number of workers on the unemployment line, then a career change may be in order. So you have to look at the industries that are prospering. All right, this is an ever-changing world. Even in my industry, it's very dynamic. There are certain techniques that I used to employ. For instance, but 2 years ago, I used to be able to submit my website to 2,000 directories, and I would be able to rank competitively for certain keywords. You can't do that anymore. You have to find links that have more value nowadays. So everything is dynamic, and you have to adapt to the ever-changing environment. You have to be just as dynamic, even more dynamic. You have to stay on the cutting edge of what's going on. So just to point back to the story I read yesterday, these plant workers could not find work, and they were getting laid off from other companies in the same industry. Some of them had no alternative but to sign up for classes. This one lady took a programming course, 63 years old. She took a programming course. She passed it. It was very stressful, and I know it's stressful. I mean, I tried to take up programming as a hobby, and I was pulling my hair out so much, it looked like I had fallen asleep at a frat party, and someone went Sinead O'Connor on my head with a clipper. So I know it's very stressful. I didn't get through it. I didn't have enough time to go through all the problem solving. So she did it. I commend her for doing that. Her first name is Maureen. I forget her last name. 63 years old. She passed the programming course. I think she's a certified programmer now. So there is no excuse to all those people that say, I'm too old to learn something else. With that, you can't teach a dog new tricks mentality.